We do have 3 items, public input for general input. If nothing else, I'm going to invite Ms. Amanda Bracy. You're on top of my pile. Come on up. Do you have anything to add? I'm sorry. I think I skipped over you. Hey, Ms. Bracy.
Yes. I come as a friend and an ally, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for allowing me this time to come before you regarding a matter that is weighing heavy on my heart as an educator and parent in this parish. There is a silent crisis facing our parish that needs our immediate attention if we want to see all children in our parish succeed and thrive in the world around them. Before I begin to address this crisis, I would first like to introduce myself for those of you who do not know who I am. My name is Amanda Bracy. I teach Family and Consumer Sciences at Sumner High School and am the teacher advisor of FCCLA, which stands for Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America, which is a mouthful when you're really nervous. Formerly known as FHA, or Future Homemakers of America. This is my 20th year teaching. I have a master's degree in school counseling and will be returning to Southeastern this summer to start training to become a licensed marriage and family therapist. I have been at my alma mater, Sumner, for the last 15 years of my career and have served as a school counselor there for 4 of those years. Go Cowboys. I have been happily married for 22 years to my high school sweetheart, Byron. Our love story began when I was in 7th grade at Sumner on the very walkways that our very own children would later cross. Our son, Brennan, graduated from Sumner last year, and our daughter, Abby, is a junior currently homeschooling with Louisiana's online public school, University View Academy. So why am I here? I am here to give a voice for the high school students in our parish who have mental health needs and who have no one to see them, hear them, or help them. While our high schools do presently have school counselors on staff, awesome counselors as we have recognized tonight, the emphasis is not on mental health, wellness, and more on academics, career planning, credentialing, and graduating. And this is a vital role fulfilled by the schools counselors that we currently have. However, they can only do so much, and their plates are full. They're way, way, way full. When I was a counselor, it was a rare occasion to actually get to talk to a student about their feelings or whatever issue found them seated in my office. Most of the time, I was spent poring over transcripts, paperwork, testing schedules, 5-year plans, and the list goes on and on. Sadly, there was never really the time or privacy to follow up consistently with students who were really needing someone to talk to. That's the beauty of counseling, though. It works when you are able to establish rapport and a relationship with that person, but that takes time and a consistent program focused on meeting mental health needs. Not many of the students I've ever taught would just up and let you in on their life troubles when they barely met you. They have to trust you to feel safe enough to open up. After 4 years of feeling like a glorified secretary, we love our secretaries, but I miss my students, and I didn't like putting Band-Aids all over the place. So I chose to return to the classroom, where I was able to connect with students better and wear my counseling hat along with my teacher hat. In the classroom, I strive for my students to feel safe and loved. That was one of the best moves of my career, even though many people thought I was crazy to demote myself and take a pay cut. But it was there where I found them and myself. I met with Ms. Silly at the end of last school year. I feel that we began a much-needed conversation toward a solution to the current seen and unseen issues our teens face. As we continue to march on to making Tangipahoa Parish the best school system in our state, I feel so strongly that this is an important missing component that could really make a difference and help to turn things around for the better. When a student has all these bottled emotions inside, they are not performing or engaging at their best. When their anxiety consumes them, they cannot focus. When they feel lost and alone, they start to seek any attention that they can get, even if it's negative attention. When they don't see a way out of their situation or pain, they begin to feel hopeless or lash out at others in anger. When they stay up most of the night with worry or using their devices, they aren't coming to school prepared and rested. These are all truths about our students, an invisible truth like the big elephant in the room that we have yet to acknowledge and deal with. Some would argue that it is not the school's responsibility for the mental health of our students, and while there is some truth to that, we also have a responsibility and burden to nurture the whole child and help him or her realize their full potential. How can we get through to them in academics when they are held back by the baggage they are dragging around to school? And while not all of our students suffer with mental health issues, I would presume that the ones with poor performance and repeated referrals, they have stuff going on. Stuff that is hindering them, hindering their success, and hindering our schools. Those students matter too. They matter just as much as the ones pulling in the high ACT scores, statewide credentials, and AP credits. They need to be seen. They need to know that we truly care about them. They need to know that despite everything, they are good and matter too. I'm sorry. Aren't you glad I took all that out? Okay. A couple of weeks ago, I'm almost finished now, I'm sorry. I gave my students an anonymous and confidential survey. They could not put their names, and I discussed with them how much I really wanted their real truth. There were 105 responses from students in 9th through 12th grade. Of those students, 72% or 76 students stated that during high school they have had concerns about their mental health, stress, anxiety, depression, etc. During the past month, 54 of my students were somewhat bothered by emotional problems such as feeling anxious, depressed, irritable, or sad. 32 of them were extremely bothered. 22 of my students had something hurtful posted or said about them on social media. Over a quarter of my students do not feel that they have a safe person to talk to when they are having a bad day. A safe person was described as someone who you trust completely to not tell anyone your business and who will not judge you no matter what you tell them. Over 80% of my students feel that stress is the most common problem among teens, followed by anger, depression, low mood, anxiety, low self-esteem, loneliness, and poor body image. 73 of my students stated that they would like more information on how to deal with school stress. 55 need help dealing with anxiety and or depression, and half of my students need help in dealing with family problems. Further down the list, you will see that 25 precious souls in my classroom need help with their suicidal thoughts. The survey reveals that my students have some good coping skills that they are putting to use to alleviate their negative feelings. However, it also reveals the tendency of some to result to unhealthy coping skills, such as emotional eating, sleeping too much, self-harm, such as cutting, zoning out with TV, social media, their phones, as well as other substance abuse issues. They responded most favorably to receiving professional counseling services with a counselor who meets with them privately at school or held a group session of their topic of interest that they could be a part of. Before I close, I would like to share a quote that I read the other day. 9 times out of 10, the story behind the misbehavior won't make you angry, it will break your heart. When asked on the survey about past or current trauma that is affecting their mental health and life right now, my students wrote the following. My birth father died when I was almost 6 years old while I was at school, so I never got to say goodbye. He had cancer. The last few days he was alive, he didn't even remember who I was. And it was the hardest thing I've ever been through, and I still struggle with it a lot. The life I was raised in, all the physical abuse I've seen done to others. Another student writes, I just am constantly sad and feel like I have no purpose. I am so tired of feeling the same way every day. It's exhausting and draining. I don't feel supported. I always feel down. Things of my childhood, like family problems and dealing with being molested, losing my mom, physical and mental abuse leading to depression and suicidal thoughts. My parents split. I've been raped and molested. I go through times where I just want to break down. I'm still battling with my grandfather's death from 2017. Neglect, emotional abuse at home, and bullying. Lost friends, picked on about my darkness, lonely at times, can't think straight at times when depression take me over. Family drinking and having bad fights about dumb stuff. Sexually abused and nobody listened when I said something about it. I've never been abused, but I've had some traumas, and it's mostly about social media and just always been left out and put down about being alive. And sometimes I just try to pretend like I don't care, but deep inside I really do. And I'm very sensitive about my feelings and how I put myself out there. And I just want to be that person where I can be me and people that care for me, because most people just hate to hate for no reason. And I just feel like the only time when I have people there for me is when something bad happens, and then a couple of days later they act like I don't exist, almost like they have a problem with me. I have a lot of things that go on at home that my friends do not know about. My mother was verbally and sometimes physically abusive. My dad was never home to protect me. I think I suffer from abandonment and trust issues. My dad is only home on weekends, and it feels like my parents can't even be in the same environment without arguing or fighting. My mom is a drug addict, and I used to be verbally abused by her, my dad, and my ex-stepdad. Family trauma when I was younger, my parents physically fought a lot. These responses do not include the 30-plus students who skipped this question, or the numerous ones who stated that they were not comfortable enough to share, or the detailed ones I left out to protect confidentiality. They are a number on this paper, but a real-life person sitting at a desk looking back at me every day. We need to hear them, we need to see them, we need to address the whole child in all of our schools. We have such an opportunity to help our children to learn healthy coping skills and how to handle their emotions and life struggles. If they are able to have a safe environment to share their story, healing can begin for those who carry invisible burdens in their hearts. I would like 2 of my students to close this out for me. Jamil Dyson and Christopher Cody Fox are 2 of my students in 5th hour who desperately tried to get their friend, affectionately known as Worm, to the hospital after he was shot at a house party altercation in Kentwood last month. These are their words. I done seen enough already. I think it's hurting me. I can't sleep at night. Mama praying for her son, trying to put that church in me. I think my heart been broke, think I need surgery. Can't let them take me out, can't let them murder me. When's it all gonna end? Because I done lost a friend. I remember we was bawling. That was just the other day. Don't nobody feel this pain. Done had some long nights walking through the rain. My people gotta make it. We stuck up in this poverty. They shot my brother 4 times. Man, this don't seem for real. I got blood up in my eyes every time I shed a tear. It's been long nights. Can't express my feelings, so I gotta make this song right. My grandma tried to pray for me, pray I make it home at night. I done seen enough already. I think it's hurting me. I can't sleep at night. Mama praying for her son, trying to put that church in me. I think my heart been hurt, think I need surgery. Can't let them take me out, can't let them murder me. When's it all gonna end? Because I done lost a friend. It got too serious. It can't happen again.
Thank you, Ms. Bracy.
Thank you. Sorry I went over the time limit.
I know your passion, and that's why I didn't stop you.
Thank you.
And I know how much your kids love you in the classroom.